Hi everybody, give me just a second. I'm getting everything ready to go here. Hi everybody, give me just a second. I'm getting everything ready to go here. Yeah, I need to turn my volume off. Ooh. All right. I'm going to share this to one more place, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. At least I think I am. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, I'm Holly. I'm with Silver Near Nothing, and tonight I'm going to create a rail from a company called Out in the Country Blinks and More, and this is part of her mystery rail. So what that means is that once a month I get a rail from her, and I don't know what it's going to be, and this is what I received this month. And so I'm going to create this rail. So I've got some really cute things that I want to add to it. I have some fabric mesh that is red and white check that I'll be adding to it. And then I have a nice bush of sunflowers. And I also have some really cute farmhouse ribbon and some really cute denim sunflower ribbon that I'll also be adding. And then I've got some deco tubing that I will incorporate into what I've got. So to begin, I'm going to start by adding my pipe cleaners to my rail. And I'm looking to see if I have any red down here in my stash. And I don't, so maybe I'll go with yellow, since we have some sunflowers. Just a second. I'm trying to count at the same time. So the rail that I received is a 15-inch rail. And so I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put 5 ties on this one. And I'm just going to put them here on the middle portion of my rail. And I'll put them about 3 inches apart. All right, 3 times 5 is 15, but I got a short inch, so that's 12. Maybe I'll do 4. All right, so how's everybody doing? I know that for a lot of people that might be joining, that this is late, but I'm on the West Coast, so or a lot of people might call this crafting after dark. I call this crafting after dinner. All right, so I'm just going to add these on. And I want to be able to have enough mesh to cover up the white background, but I don't want to cover up the design that Tina from Out in the Country Blinks and More painted. So the great thing about her blanks is that everything that she creates, as far as her painted material, are all created by her. They're painted by her. And then the other thing about her rails is that she uses 100% wood. She's not using MDF or anything like that. She's just using some wood in her cuts. And everything is hand cut by her husband. So it's a family affair. So I like that I'm supporting a small business like my own. Alright, so I've got the rails attached, and so I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to cut 5 pieces of mesh to go in those ties. So what I'd like to do tonight is a woodland ruffle. So I'm going to cut a 20, I guess I'll do a 25-inch strip of mesh to go in this ruffle. So I brought it out to the 30-inch mark, and I'm going to cut it at the 5. And I'll cut 5 of those, 1 to go in each tie. Again, I'm using fabric mesh for this, and I really like fabric mesh because I like the texture of it. Because it's kind of soft because it's fabric, but it's also kind of dense. So it's really nice in rails because you don't use a lot of it. It definitely covers up the base. So that's another reason why I like to use the fabric mesh when I'm creating a rail. So that's 4, and then I have 1 more. Okay, so there's my 5 pieces. And then a woodland ruffle is also called a cruffle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this curl side up, so you know it's kind of curling together. And then I'm just going to curl it 3 times, so kind of, but I want them to be kind of thick curls. I don't want them to be tight. So I know that some crafters call it a taquito, some people call it a burrito. I call it whatever size that is. For me, it's about as big as my thumb and my middle finger together. That's about how big I like my rolls to be. And that'll give me some nice curl. So I'm going to curl it 3 times. So 1, or roll it 3 times. 2, 3. And then usually I would use a clip, but I am unprepared with a clip tonight. So instead, I'm just going to put my rotary cutter on top of it, just to hold it so it doesn't move. And then do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to scrunch it in the middle and bring it together. And then I'm ready to place this on my base. And when I place it, I'm going to place it curl side down, and I'm going to place it vertical. And when I do this, I take my twist tie and I cross it and I pull tight, and then I twist twice. Okay, and then I'll do that for the remaining 4. Okay, so whatever your method is for getting 3 curls or 3 rolls and then scrunching. Sometimes I hold the mesh up against my body to get that done. But usually I don't like to do that when I'm on camera. So you can see how that's going to start to come together here. And just 1, 2, 3, bring it all together, place it in the pipe cleaners. The nice thing about this type of fold on the mesh is that it puts all cut ends on the inside, so there is less chance of seeing the fray. Okay, and I am just using it against my body right now, so I think you can see in the corner picture that I've just got it up against my chest. And I'm just rolling it 3 times, and then I scrunch it in the middle. I'm just scrunching it, and I'm putting curl side down. And then I've got one more to go. Oh, Carrie first. Hey, Brian. Nice to see you guys. 1, 2, 3. And here we are. 1, 2. Okay, so now I've got the base layer of my mesh, and you can see that it's covered up quite a bit of the base, but it also covered up some of the sunflowers. So what I may end up doing is actually taking these here in the middle, and I might twist them, right? Because I really want those sunflowers to kind of show through in my design, because they're so stinking cute. Maybe I'll just make it all kind of go diagonal. Yeah, that makes it easier to be able to see those sunflowers. So I definitely like that, like them at a 45-degree angle much better than I liked them at the vertical 90-degree view. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to open up some ribbon and pull up another ribbon that I have that's already open, and I'm going to add the ribbon to the middle of my ties. Alright, so I'm just going to open that up. And this is really cute farmhouse ribbon. It says Simply Blessed, Farm Fresh, Country Life, and it's got a, what does it have? It has a cow, a chicken, and a pig on it. So people that really are into the farmhouse styling, this is definitely your kind of ribbon. I like it because it's the red and the white. Alright, so I'm going to make these, I think I'll make them 12 inches long. So I'm going to use my ribbon board here to help me with that. And I've got 5 ties, so I need 5 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I just cut it off. And then I snip. And I snip. And now I've got 5 pieces of ribbon. I already cut this one at the dovetail, this one here. So I'm going to take it out of the stack and just dovetail it by itself. And then I'll take the other 4 in the stack that they're in, and I'll go ahead and I will cut them all at one time. So I'm just bringing my 2 wire pieces together here, and then I'm cutting at an angle up towards the wire, and you'll see that that gives it a nice, I think you can see it here on top of the board better, a nice V, just for a different texture in the design. So I'll do that to the other side. And onto this side. Alright, so there are my 5 pieces of farmhouse. And then because this design has sunflowers, I have this really cute sunflower ribbon, and that is denim, and it has varying shades in it, but it does have a little bit of red in it, so that'll look really cute up here against the farmhouse as well. And of course it's denim, so why wouldn't that work? So I'm going to pull 5 pieces of that. Again, I'm doing 12 inches on them, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to cut it off. And then I'm going to snip them. So snip. Snip. And then because I didn't cut the first one, I'm just going to do all 5 of them and give them the same dovetail effect that I put on the farmhouse. So I'm just taking it here in the corners. Some people like to cut away from the wire when they do this. It really doesn't matter which way you cut, as long as you cut away so that you're making a V. So for example, if I cut this way where I'm next to the ribbon, I think you can see that if I bring it closer here, the wire's here. So in that instance, I would cut down versus the way that I normally cut it, where I've got the wire away from me and then I cut up. So really it just kind of depends which way you want to go. Are you going to fold it this way and cut up, or are you going to fold it this way and cut down? I always cut up. It's just my way. All right. So now that my ribbon is cut, I'm ready to add that to my rail. Move my ribbon out of the way. Move my board out of the way. Everything back together so that you can see it. And then here we go. All right, so because this is printed ribbon, I want to make sure that it's always going in a direction that you can read it. So when I place it into the tie, I'll make sure that it's going in the direction that it'll be read, or that it can be read. But when I do this, what I do is I bring the two pieces together, and then I fold it in half. And I always use a high quality wired ribbon when I do this, and when I fold it in half, you can see that it's left a crease in my ribbon, and that tells me where I need to scrunch it. So I'm just going to scrunch it, and then I always like to pull them out a little bit, kind of get the part in the middle, an extra little bit fluffy. And then I'm going to place that in the middle of my pipe cleaner, and I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm going to twist it. And then I pull these into an X, so they go the opposite directions, and then I fluff them up. Again, the advantage of using a quality wired ribbon is that the wire will make the ribbon behave, and then it really becomes kind of poofy. So I'm going to do that for the remaining 4. But I got to grab the tail, not the ribbon that's on the roll. Alright, so I'll move the tails where I can find them. Again, I need to remember that I want to be able to read the country ribbon, so I want to make sure that when I am folding it and placing it in the tie, that I'm placing it in the direction that it can be read. And then I'm looking for the other twist tie that's here. Hi Beverly, welcome. I'm glad that you like the mesh. I really like this fabric mesh too. And then I'm going to pull, and now the decision is, do I want all of the reds to go the same direction, or do I want to make them opposite? And that I haven't decided yet. I might end up coming right back through here and pulling these out. We'll see. Well, I'm not pulling them out, but pulling them the other direction. But for now, I'm going to go opposites. I'm just making them X's for now. Folding it in half here, looking for that crease, pinching, and then placing. 12 inches is my favorite length for ribbon tails. It gives it just enough fluff, I think. Sometimes I go shorter, sometimes I go a little bit longer, but 12 inches really is my favorite. Oh, I don't know if I like that crossed over. I think I really like being able to see the farm fresh. So I'm going to come back through over to the second one and pull it so it goes in the same direction as the first one. So I really want to be able to see that farmhouse ribbon here in the design. And you can see that as I'm adding the ribbon, it really is filling in, and you're not able to see the base of the frame or the rail. So I've got that, and we're just going to pinch. Put these in there. Again, I pull it tight, and then I twist, and then I'm going to make an X. Pull it like kind of like a hairstylist pulls hair through their fingers to give that ribbon a little bit of curl. And then I'm on to my last one. Okay, so there's that. There's that. I had to check to make sure the ribbon was going the right way. And then pull tight, twist, twist. And pull these ribbon tails and curl them. Okay, now I'm going to add something that I don't normally add to my designs. And this is going to be a little bit noisy while I open the packaging, but I just have some mesh tubing, and this is kind of fun because it adds a little bit of sparkle and detail to the design without being overly clunky, I guess. So, and that's all this is just, it's the same material as deco mesh that I use in a lot of my wreaths, but they've just formed it into a tube. So you can see here that it's like a straw, but it's really stretchy. And for this, I want to use, eventually, my goal really is just to make two little bows out of it. Right, so in a way this will kind of be like the ribbon that I would normally add, or the bow that I would normally add. So I really kind of want it to look kind of like that does. Maybe if I can get in the right angle so the camera sees it. So how long is that? It's about 20 inches long. So I'm going to cut 5 pieces at about 20 inches. So I'm just using the original piece to cut the others. So here's 3. And they don't have to be exact because the bows won't be exact. And I gotta find the other end. So that's 3. Sometimes I lose track of what number I'm on, which is why I keep saying I'm on 3. And then here's 4. And then the last one. Computer, turn on glue gun.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got those out of the way. And I've got my 5 strips that are ready to go. And I'm just going to make them like little ties. kind of like when you tie your shoelaces. And I'm going to add those to the middle of my ribbons. Like that. That one's all sorts of kinky. Like it got smashed. All right, so maybe I won't use this one because this one's not in the in a condition that I'd want to give to a customer. So I'm going to cut another piece maybe from the middle. It's not all scawampus like that one is, because that one's pretty bad. All right, so again, I'm looking for around 20 inches. Cutting that. Bringing these together. Middle. And you heard me turn on my glue gun a minute ago, and I'm going to do that because I want to add some sunflowers to the middle of this as well. So I'm going to cut those off of my sunflower bush, and I'm going to hot glue them into my design. Now, I don't know if I'm going to put 5 sunflowers on this, since it is a 15-inch rail. That may be a lot of sunflower. I may only do like 3. Just looking over to see if I have any other comments from, and I can only see comments on my Silver Knew Nothing page. So if you are on YouTube or some other page and you want to chat with me, come over to the Silver Knew Nothing page, and then that way I can see your comments, because I can't see your comments in other locations. And if you're on YouTube, that means come over to Facebook. Alright, so I've got those in there. And then I have these really, really pretty sunflowers. And I bought these, well, I got them at Hobby Lobby when they were half off. So that means I got this big old bush for like $6. Because it was normally like a $12 bush. So that's a pretty good deal, I think. And now I just have to decide, do I want the leaves in there? Because this isn't a bush where the leaves move. So I'm just going to cut off the stem. Maybe. Or not. Yeah, probably not. I'm not strong enough. I need to get my stem cutter, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, and you see that I'm not even making a dent in the wire there. Oh, maybe I did. Oh, maybe. Oh, I might have got it. There might be just one little piece here. I do have a tool that cuts these wires very effortlessly. I just don't know where I've put it. Oh my gosh. It's definitely not strong enough to cut this. Oh, that's hilarious. I thought I was going to be able to do it. This is funny. But I am determined that eventually I will get all I've done is dent my scissors. I dented my scissors. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm gonna have to add stems later because I don't want to ruin another pair of scissors. Oh yeah, now they won't even, they're all, oh, I ruined them. I pushed too hard on them. I do have wire cutters, which I probably should have used in the first place. I wonder if those are strong enough to trim this. They might be. Okay, so I got one. Let's see what I can do to get 3. Oh. I didn't even think about pulling out my wire cutters. And I ruined my scissors. Oh, there we go. These are much easier. Okay, so there's 3. And now I just have to decide how I want them to sit. I may have too much of a stem that I've cut out here, but I think that I want them, I'm just kind of playing with it right now, but I think that that would look really cute if I put it in between each tie. Again, I'm just playing with it right now, trying to decide how I would like this to go. And I'm just feeling right now for the back end of it. I don't mean to make the camera shake. Apparently I'm She-Ra tonight. Making the camera shake, breaking my scissors. So that gives me an idea of what it would look like. Oh, maybe I do want 4. Usually I don't design in even numbers, but maybe 4 would look cute because that would allow it to be 1 between each one. I think I'll do that. And I'm not going to do long stems on them, so I'm going to have to cut the stem down shorter. So for that, I'm just going to cut closer here. Okay. And cut these off closer. One more. Alright. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my glue gun over here. It's been heating up for me. It lives way over there in the back. And I want to place these like right there. I think that's where I want them to live. So I'm just putting a bunch of hot glue on here. So I want it to stick. And I'm just going to push it down in there. And move over to on this side. Do the same thing. Cover it in hot glue. Stick it down in there. Pull these out of the way. Give it a spot. Push those forward. So I probably should have used my low temp glue gun. You can see the heat or the smoke rising off of my flowers as I'm melting them. Probably should have used the low temp, but I'm not going to catch anything on fire, so I'll be alright. I have to be super careful not to get it on my hands. Okay. Computer, turn off looping.
Okay.
Okay. So I have these beauties placed. And now I have one more decision that I need to make. And that decision is, what do I want to do with the stems on my pipe cleaners? So I have a couple options of what I can do. If I had matching like glitter balls, I could add those to the ends. I know that the designer of the rail, Tina, out in the country, Blanks and More, she puts foam balls on the ends of hers quite a bit. I could twist these and give them a little dimension, or I can cut them off. So I think that I am going to give them little twists and kind of give it just a little bit of whimsy inside this country farmhouse styling. And I'm just wrapping this pipe cleaner around this dowel that I have. This is actually my extra long dowel from my ribbon or my bow maker. I'm going to pull them up a little bit. So I don't want to pull the curl out completely. I do want to be able to see them. Last little bits of curl in here. And then you'll really be able to see the curl on the ends because there's not a sunflower distracting. So there we are. This is my mystery rail from Tina at Out in the Country Blanks and More. She sent this to me as part of her mystery program. I didn't know what I was going to get, and this is what I received. I think it's really cute. I was glad to see Farmhouse because I've had the Country Farm Fresh ribbon for almost a year now. I got it in one of my supply boxes from Deco Exchange, and didn't know how I wanted to use it. So it works perfect on this rail. I'm not a fan of ribbon that has print on it for bows, so this rail is the perfect way for me to use it. So my final product started off, well, let's say, originally I had a 15-inch rail. And now this has become a 23-inch rail by adding in the mesh. And then it is about 3 inches deep. So this will fit if you have a screen door or a storm door. This will fit nicely between those. Or, of course, you could hang this in your kitchen. You could hang this on any door. But I know that sometimes people that have the storm doors are challenged mostly because a lot of the wreaths that are made are too thick. So it's not quite a pancake, but it is definitely thin enough that it would probably fit between a screen door and a front door, or a storm door and a front door, or any door or wall. So I hope you enjoyed my making of this rail tonight. I enjoyed making it. It was fun. And thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time on Crafting After Dinner. Bye, everybody.